I have the pleasure to be here with Ramiro, associate partner at McKinsey. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
So, first question, tell us, what does French Tech Capital Day represent for you and your business?
Look, for us, it's great to see this type of activities, right? Like, first of all, expanding activity for startups in Miami. But I think, Miami represents like an immigration standpoint for the U.S., right? Traditionally, it was almost, always for LATAM, right? But I think it's really important for us to continue attracting innovation from Europe and from other places. And I think this is a great bridge, like French Tech is doing, like connecting both places. And I think that's the way we grow this city and this country, right? And hub, right? Like being connected, being together. And so I think it's awesome.
Great, thank you. What would you say, what are the news from McKinsey? What are the exciting news that you could share with us?
Yeah, so look, traditionally we've served like Fortune 100 companies right in the world, like the big corporations of the world. Like, if you look at the Fortune 100, Fortune 500, like we serve like 80% of them. But when you look at startups, right, we're not that prominent yet. Like we have already worked with like more than 500 startups globally, but we really want to get here because we think this is where the future is, right? And in 20 years, these startups are going to be the new Fortune 100 companies. And we really want to be here and be relevant and really help them scale, right? So for us, like being involved, even at these early stages, is super important, right? To start learning, to start communicating, right? And help them from scratch.
All right, and look, you work with a lot of very successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for young or less young entrepreneurs trying to pursue their dream?
Look, I think there's goods and bads of being an entrepreneur versus a big company, right? Having worked with big companies, like you have a ton of advantages you don't realize, right? So you have the agility, you have the leanness, you can make decisions and make them super fast, but you don't have a lot of time or resources, right? So I think focus would be my number one. I too often see entrepreneurs, as soon as they reach a little bit of capital, right, they're trying to do too many things at the same time. And it's impossible, right? It just doesn't work. So just really focusing on that 80-20 and saying, okay, what's the one thing you're going to do for this quarter and just do that, right? And solve that big problem rather than trying to expand to too many geographies, too many products, too many things. Just, okay, what's the one huge pain point you're going to solve for like one type of customer and just do that for one time and then, telling the story and growing it's easier from there.
Well, I hope this is very valuable insights that people will take on, so thanks for sharing. In terms of trends, personally or as McKinsey as a whole, what are the different trends that you guys are looking at in the tech industry?
Yeah, now, of course, everyone is crazy about AI, right? Boards are meeting about like, hey, how do we integrate AI in our business? I think startups are getting like, hey, how do we not get crushed by some AI company, in 6 months? I think that's a huge one. I think, and we saw this today in the pitch, right? Like sustainability is a big one as well, right? Like, hey, how do we do this in a sustainable way? Like, how do we find that balance between like doing what's good for the world, but also in a profitable way, and that makes sense, especially when you come to a recession. Like priorities change a little bit, right? And people start to think about, okay, I need to, protect my bottom line. So how do I do that? But yeah, honestly, like today, I think AI is eating, that priorities away, right? Like everyone is crazy about it, and I think we don't even understand like the possibilities. Like every week is like something new that's crazy, Like you can even cope with that speed. So yeah, honestly, I would say like 80% of everything right now is probably AI.
All right, yeah, I tend to agree. So
Yeah.
okay, and last question, what would be one word in French
Yeah.
that you'd want to share with us, either to describe this event or just a word in French that you may know?
I have a very easy one because I had the best one I had in a long time. That is croissant. Because as soon as I got here, I was like famished, and I saw croissants, and I got there, I was like, oh, like yeah, it had to be like a French event where you eat such a great croissant. So yeah, that's my word.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here, and we hope to have you again next year.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.